Hey guys, Dan here with Merlin for Frasier Friday. We are looking at season 4 now. We're up to.
Yes.
This is when a series, I think, really hits its stride because we get to know the characters well enough that the jokes can be written and be funny, but also the delivery, because we know the characters, I think really helps.
It sticks.
So I feel like that is going to help us here in this season. This is a very good season. So we're going to tackle this in two parts as we do. So we're going to do the first 12 episodes in this review, and then we have the last half, and then we'll review the season on the whole next time.
Mm-hmm.
So we start season 4 with the two Mrs. Cranes, and this is a case of mistaken identity episode. We have this guy Clive that Daphne invites over, but she pretends that Niles is her husband. Of course, everyone loves that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a whole miscommunication with, Frasier, and then they say he's Niles and he's married to Maris, and then, Roz enters the picture, and then she's a part of it, and so I like these episodes.
Yeah.
I like it when there's, I think it's a good season opener because it's not plot-driven at all. Or story-driven, I should say.
Kind of like hooks you in a little.
If you've never seen Frasier and your friends are like, "Oh, hey, we've been watching Frasier, you should check it out." Okay, well, the season opens. You don't really need to know anything about these characters because it's not very story-focused. It's just humor, bit of a farce.
Mm-hmm. Good farce.
Good farce. So, I like this one. I gave it an A. I thought it was a strong season opener.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one too, actually.
Yeah.
I think that always getting the balance between those two characters is always great, for sure. And I think I think we really start to see that theme really be built upon more this season and beyond.
Yes, I agree. And it's nice that this episode was almost entirely set in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really focus. Gives everybody kind of a chance to shine comedically in their own way, which I enjoy. All right, so that's the opener. Then we have Love Bites Dog. This is when it's a bulldog episode. One of your favorites.
Yes.
This is when him and Frasier are going after the same girl, this golf pro.
Oh yeah.
Or former professional golfer, I should say. Frasier, starts with her, but then Bulldog, takes the ball and runs with it, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly a step off from the premiere.
Definitely.
I like the Bulldog character.
Okay.
But he's a bit one note, and
Yeah.
as these other characters are sort of growing, he kind of doesn't, which is okay. That happens sometimes, Not like Norm ever really grew on Cheers or anything.
No.
I
feel like in some episodes they played a little bit with it. Like I know for a fact there is some growth, but it's definitely not.
It's episode by episode though. Like sometimes he'll seem like he grows a little bit, but then like in the next episode he'll just be back to
because they got to keep those
Bulldog.
same jokes again.
They got to do the tropes, which is why I think halfway through the series he kind of leaves for a couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually comes back. Although they do some good stuff with him there because he gets fired and then he becomes like the delivery boy and all that stuff.
And that
was the growth.
You get to do other things with the character.
Right.
Yes.
But that was, that's far removed from this season. That comes in a while. So I gave that one a B.
Yeah.
That was okay.
That sounds about right.
Decent
Bulldog.
Yeah, decent Bulldog. So up next is The Impossible Dream. This is the classic... I don't know, I guess the gay episode of the season. They always have one.
Yes.
Which I find all very tongue-in-cheek.
Okay.
As a gay man, I was never offended by any of the jokes they told, partially because half the cast is gay.
Yeah.
Bulldog in real life, and Niles, and Martin, and, they're all gay in real life. So, so in this one, Frasier is having this recurring dream about Gil Chesterton. Who is most likely a gay character. It's never... Maybe later in the series it's expressly said, but they dance around it, they poke fun at it.
Yeah, I don't think...
he's certainly not come out himself as a character.
Even in this episode, he's not explicitly stated as gay.
No.
Just like...
But it's clear that's what they want the audience to infer.
I thought this episode was pretty funny.
I did enjoy it.
it's one of those weird things where I guess it's one of the things about Frasier's character. We know that he's a very self-aware person.
Yes,
and he has a lot of deep analysis, and he oftentimes is bothered by things you think he shouldn't be. And I sometimes feel like this episode was funny, but I'm also like, should Frasier really be that worried about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole season is sort of about Frasier's
doubts of himself.
Yeah, just sort of feeling like he's lost.
Yes,
you know, at this point he's been divorced several years, and the dating scene hasn't quite worked out, and we'll get to it in the next episode we talk about. But the season ender, where he's like going out of the town by himself and sort of realizing these things, hey, it's been 5 years since I've been divorced now. So I think this season is kind of all about that growth for his character, which is why I sort of liked this episode in that regard. Because, maybe he shouldn't be worried about, am I having erotic dreams about Gil?
But it's more like I'm single.
But
what
it's more like, what am I doing wrong? Who am I really?
And that might be kind of where the whole gay subtext comes in. Like, that's another element of identity. Right. And he, of course, doesn't know, but it's just like, it's an interesting thing. So
I thought this was a pretty good one. I gave it a B+.
That sounds about right. I think I might have liked it a little bit. I'll probably give it like an A-.
Okay, ooh, good one.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Okay, so Crane's Critique is next. And that is when we have T.H. Houghton, the author, that these guys idolized from their childhood.
All right,
you want to talk about this one first?
Well, actually, no, use...
Okay. Basically, Martin befriends him, and the boys are jealous.
The author,
trying to get
this author
his story.
They really love. Only did one novel.
Yes. I sort of think of him as like a Salinger. Reclusive author.
Like what would have been
like... they just happen to stumble across.
And of course, they keep trying to befriend him, but because they seem like pushy fans, it just drives the author away.
And he just wants to be a regular guy, which Martin is.
And that's what Martin's...
And Martin couldn't care less about his
but the whole thing where
writing, credits.
They find the manuscript, and they're like, they want to do it, and then, it kind of almost goes over okay, but they're discovered, and then the critique... destroys it, and there's this potentially great novel that's destroyed because of their
does he throw it out the window or something?
Oh, he throws it out the window or burns it in the fire. And I'm like, but then they somehow, of course, to get rid of the guilt, rationalize it. No, actually, think about it. Like, we did the great thing. There should only be one great novel.
We saved the world from this mediocre novel.
Of this great author, tarnished his reputation.
The Crane Boys are nothing if not self-serving, and
they find a way out. Man.
So this was a good one.
That was pretty good.
I gave this one an A-.
That's up there.
Very enjoyable. And the gentleman that plays...
I know that guy.
The guy, he's been in a lot of things... it says his name here, Robert Prosky.
I know that.
Who? Because I looked him up when I saw the episode, and I was like, I know him from so many things. He's done a bunch of films and TV. Frasier. Okay, what's his filmography? Well, he was in Christine. You've seen that, I'm sure.
Oh, I think he was
Broadcast News. Oh, The Great Outdoors. I've seen that.
Gremlins 2.
Gremlins 2 I haven't seen in a long time, but he was in that.
Last Action Hero.
Far and away our favorite.
Hoffa.
Oh,
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire. He plays the boss in Mrs. Doubtfire that Robin Williams goes to have dinner with and keeps having to go back and forth from the table.
So, classic guy here.
That's a classic, yeah. And this was right around that time, really.
Nice.
Of that movie. All right, so Head Game is next. This is when the boys find... Frasier's almost gone from this episode. This is another one where Niles takes over the radio show.
Oh, I love this one too.
I really like.
I love when
they mix up the people and they have him do it.
It's the second time they've done that, right? I think.
Second thus far. Well, but then I think they did one together.
Oh yeah, they did one together,
right?
But I love it.
He was like a guest on it.
When Niles tries to get on the show. That's great.
So, so what...
It's actually, he enjoys it. He secretly wants it.
So this is the one where they have the basketball player come in.
And he gives him advice.
And he gives him advice. He's a guest on Bulldog's show. And in the crossover on the air, he, says about he's nervous. And so Niles thinks he's giving him this real profound advice, but really... He's only interested in the good luck head rub that he thinks Niles gave him. So all of a sudden, Niles is a big deal in the family because Martin is getting courtside seats. He becomes sort of a celebrity because he mentions Niles' name in an interview. I thought this was a very funny episode.
It was very good.
I gave it a B+. Very good.
That's good. It was a good one.
Oh, I didn't do Crane's critique. I gave an A, by the way.
Well, I hope so.
We didn't talk about that, but yes. So okay, head game. Yes, I like that. So mixed doubles is next. This is when Daphne breaks up with Joe. Mm-hmm. She had been with him for a little bit. I think since the third season.
Mm-hmm. Didn't see a lot of him though.
Didn't see a lot of him, no, but he was there. So Roz takes Daphne out, and Niles decides to tell Daphne how he feels about her. Mm-hmm. And then Frasier sort of talks him out of it, and she ends up falling for this other guy, and he's basically the same person as Niles.
Yeah.
So, I didn't like this one as much as maybe I could have.
You don't like it when they make Daphne an idiot.
Okay. There's just a couple things with this. Number one. Now, so when was this? This was 96. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, I believe it would have been either this season or the season before that Friends already did this.
Okay.
They had, the whole Ross-Rachel thing. Oh. So, Ross dates this guy named Russ, who is David Schwimmer. They actually had David Schwimmer be the guy.
That's funny.
With a different haircut or whatever it was. And we've seen this on shows before. It's not like Friends was the original either.
Sure.
But I don't know. But yes, I don't like when Daphne is completely oblivious to Niles' feelings for her. Now, in this episode, that didn't quite bother me as much. Okay. Just because she's suffering from a broken heart.
True.
So it would make sense that maybe she's not seeing some signals. To me, the better part of this episode is Niles sort of blaming Frasier for not letting him tell Daphne. Mm-hmm. Look, you told me to wait, and now she's with this other guy already.
Yes, I'll wait on it next time.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So I gave that one a B.
Yeah.
It was okay.
That one wasn't the best one.
So up next is Lilith Thanksgiving. This is the Lilith episode for the season. And one of my favorites. This one, I'll just say, this one gets an A from me. It's one of my favorites of the season.
This is classic.
You want to talk about this one?
If I remember correctly,
it's almost an A+. It's so funny.
I might give it an A+. This is the one where they do the Thanksgiving, and of course they bring their son with them. And I want to talk about the B plot first, because the B plot is hilarious, where Martin and Niles, they're trying to keep things together and keep the turkey going and take care of Frederick, but they keep get injured.
Yeah, they keep injuring him in various ways.
And every time Will and Frasier come back, they're so worried about their son's welfare, trying to get him into the school, which is the A plot, that they don't even notice. So they're so concerned with this thing in the future, they're not even. That's obviously the commentary about them, but yeah, they're trying to get him into this exclusive school, and they keep trying to go back. And because they keep thinking that they overdid it.
And the sheer irony of, we care about our son so much, we want to get him in this prestigious school, we'll do anything, that they completely miss that he's got, a black eye.
That he's, getting hurt, and that irony is fantastic. And just the fact that they, end up getting him into the school because the guy just doesn't want to deal with him because it keeps escalating to the point where he ruins his dinner in his house.
I will get you into the school if you promise to never show up,
and you can't,
to never do anything.
And you can't come to any of his recitals or I'm like this is horrible. I think that is the A+ for me.
And then they close the door and say, "We're in." Yeah, I didn't give any A+ this season, but if I did, this would be the one. This is the best of the season for sure.
I'm giving that one A+. Okay. That was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. And one of maybe the best Lilith episodes. There's a few good ones. But
I love Lilith.
I do too.
I think she's great. What's that actress's name again?
Bebe Neuwirth.
Bebe Neuwirth. Oh yeah, I like her.
Classic actress of stage and screen.
Yeah, she's very good. She's
most recently seen on Madam Secretary for a few seasons.
Madam Secretary looks the same.
She's off now, but she really does. She looks about the same from 10 years ago.
You ever see The Associate now?
No. Wait.
With Whoopi?
Diane Keaton? And Whoopi. Mm-hmm. A long time ago.
She was in that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she'll show up. I believe she's the boss in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days with Kate Hudson.
I think so. It's been a while since I've seen that. And you know what?
She pops up.
Unapologetically, I do remember liking that movie.
As
far as McConaughey rom-coms, I thought it was okay.
All of the McConaughey rom-coms, that is the one I like.
Could have been worse.
And I don't like Kate Hudson.
I normally don't really either.
But I think she was okay in that. I mean, I like Almost Famous. But other than that,
I was never really a huge
typically don't like her
in that either.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say about that. But I typically don't like her. And that was when I didn't like McConaughey either. Because
this is the thing.
This is when he was doing all the rom-coms. He was doing Failure to Launch and
people
this is
all base a little, but just remember with
Usually
McConaughey,
is.
you talk about the '90s, then you skip like the 2000s,
like 10 years,
and then you just go to Mud, and then you're
yeah, because you've got
his early stuff was good.
You know, Dazed and Confused. You've got
Time to Kill,
which I've heard is good.
Yeah.
I know you're a fan.
You know, I like Contact.
Contact.
Big movie for him.
And then he did all the rom-coms, and it wasn't until that like Lincoln Lawyer.
Oh, yeah, Lincoln Lawyer's a good movie.
Magic Mike type era, Mud, that he really
the Reconnaissance,
yes. Which now has fallen again. He did The Beach Bum this year, which was very poorly received.
Didn't see it.
And a couple other things recently. Anyway.
That's my fault.
You know,
sorry.
At the beginning of this, we said, okay, we only have X amount of time to do this. And yet here we are, Matthew McConaughey.
We have to go natural.
But the point is, Bebe Neuwirth is a great actress. She was great on Cheers.
And I think she does great with Lilith.
And she does a great job with Lilith. So,
absolutely.
All right, so up next is Our Father Whose Art Ain't Heaven. This is when, this is a real funny one. This is one I feel like is one of those episodes where it's like, you know, if you know the characters, this is why it's funny.
You'll really appreciate it more.
It'll really
for a while.
resonate with you.
As opposed to like, we're watching this episode the first time, it might not
right.
hit as much.
Because at the end of the episode, they're all crying because Martin feels like he can't please his son, and Frasier's crying because he's crying, and I mean it was
and now it's like
for laughs.
Oh no, why are we all crying?
Right. Yeah, basically the plot is they go to this restaurant where Frasier's just trying to kiss the ass of the waiter or the owner or whatever, and admires this piece of art, and then they have a sort of a fight about who's going to pay for the meal, and Martin's like, you never let me do anything for you, so he buys the art thinking that Frasier loves it, and then Frasier has to tell him that he does not. And I thought this was a real good one, so that's an A- for me.
Great for their relationship.
Yeah, it really was, and it's one that again, plays off of the characters themselves, even maybe more so than the script, like the words.
And the acting, it brings out some good drama too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so up next is Dad Loves Cherie, The Boys Just Whine. And this is where we are introduced to Cherie, who becomes a fixture for the rest of the season.
Yes, she
in
does.
Martin's life. She becomes Martin's girlfriend. And she is very
she has a presence.
Blue collar, let's say.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like Martin. And there's nothing wrong with that, but compared to the boys, obviously she's less refined.
They can't stand her.
Let's say. They hate her.
They hate her. They hate her.
They hate her. So
they want Martin to be happy.
I think they want Martin to be happy. She's got this banjo that she brings over. It's like everything she does is like she one-ups herself in
how
annoyance.
Yes, for them.
So for an introduction to Cherie, I thought it was good. I gave the episode an A-. I think this actress that plays her, who I don't know, says Marsha Mason. She's very funny in the role. I don't know if I know her from other things, but I thought she was great. I was glad to see that she became a fixture throughout the rest of the season because I like that they're doing arcs with girlfriends.
Yeah, you don't like it when they
women.
Introduce a love interest and then just drop them immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, and we talked about that with Frasier's boss, but it's like, a show like, let's say Seinfeld, is designed to have a new girl, or in Elaine's case, a boyfriend, every other show.
True.
Which is why I think they ended up killing off Susan, because it was like, George isn't supposed to settle down, I
kind of liked that arc, though.
Yeah, I didn't mind the arc.
To be honest.
Did you like the ending, though? When they killed her?
You know what? That's a conversation for another time.
You know what? Right again.
Seinfeld's a whole other thing.
Right again. Joe, you always know.
I really want to answer.
We should get back on track.
That would not be a quick answer.
But anyway, so I liked that one. And there you go. This episode I actually was the first one where I had to look up a couple of jokes. Because here at this point in time, as we said at the beginning, season 4 now, this shows find their footing. They know who their audience is. They know who the characters are. Now the writing is getting sharper, and they're not just making comments that are general knowledge sort of things. So there were 2 jokes in this episode I had to look up to understand. And I actually thought that was kind of cool. Like Frasier is a very high-class show. It's very well-written, and yet it's very down-to-earth, very populous, very mainstream.
But some of the jokes
are very I don't know, highfalutin niche jokes,
sophisticated,
which is something that I suppose Seth MacFarlane employs on Family Guy. But for him, it's more like I don't really care who gets the joke.
It's pop culture references, no matter how
pop culture references that are very obscure. So here we have him talking about a Spillane Fellowship, which is based on the 1950s and 60s detective show Mickey Spillane, who was this big ladies' man.
Okay.
And then they made a reference to this Sophie Tucker, which I also had to look up. So I thought that was interesting that, in this show of rapid fire jokes, there's jokes that went over probably, I mean, I'm a smart guy.
Yeah.
That probably went over a lot of people's heads, but they were able to get away with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because of the sort of, I don't know, the basis of the show. I mean, that is something Frasier or Niles would say.
Like maybe if
in real life,
they laugh about it because they don't know what it is, they'll assume it's just something that someone really well read would know about. Like the Crane Boys.
Yeah. So I know, I liked that. Okay. And that came up actually a little later in the in another episode too, but so I like that this season the writers are sort of like, okay, our audience can handle this kind of a joke, even if they don't quite get it, but just the way it's phrased or whatever, they'll laugh. All right, so Liar Liar is next. This is when they talk about the bully in high school where they pulled the fire alarm and got him eventually expelled, and then Frasier goes to visit him in the jail to see how his life turned out.
And now that I think about
it all
started when I got
turns out Frasier
school.
ignites this spark in him that he realizes, oh, that's why
I ruined this guy's life.
Right. And then he tries to go apologize to the girlfriend, and then she turns out she's a big sex fiend, but like with risky
violence.
Yeah, like risk factors and stuff. So I give that one a B. I mean,
it's pretty good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
There were some good jokes, but I don't know. I don't know if Frasier really would have done that with his ethics, but
I think that was one of those ones where that was a bit off.
Yeah, you suspend your disbelief a little bit for the jokes, but it's like I don't think Frasier would have done that, but okay. So next is 3 Days of the Condo. This is when Frasier sort of becomes, or at least tries to go against the head of the condo association because of this door knocker that he wants. And it turns out there's a lot of miscommunication going on.
It's the conspiracy theory spy.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory, which I thought was okay. Again, a little off for the Frasier brand.
A little off. I thought it was kind of a funny joke.
But I thought it was a funny joke, and I also thought the big thing at the end, the speech at the end, when he thinks he's talking about his dad's hot tub. He thinks he's talking about Eddie and him walking the dog or whatever, but he's really talking about him going to the hot tub naked or whatever.
Let him
and talking about his little friend,
his freedom.
When he goes to the playground, all the children love seeing his little friend. Like
I was like, Frasier, they're talking about this. Never mind. I can see
another classic miscommunication on that. So that's a B plus.
That's a good one.
And that was the episode. The other one I had to look up. This building has a grapevine Ernest and Julio Gallo would envy, and they were winemakers, so heard it through the grapevine, gossip mill.
That's good.
But he just rolls these lines, off like they're nothing. Okay, so the final one we're going to talk about right now is episode 12, Death and the Dog, and this is when Eddie goes to the vet, and it's a flashback sequence to all these different events that Frasier was talking about on his show. Daphne wants to take him to a dog psychiatrist, so this guy comes over, and of course Niles and Frasier don't take too kindly to that, don't take it seriously. I thought it was okay. I gave it a B.
It's a decent one.
They're a little jerky,
They were being a little too mean.
They were being a little too mean.
I mean, the guy's like a vet or whatever. So he knows what he's doing.
And especially, the whole Niles-Daphne thing, I don't know, this was Daphne's idea. Daphne believes in this kind of thing.
So you probably would
Niles is going to really make fun of it that much.
No, even if he didn't believe it because it's Daphne, he might try to give it something. You're right. That's a little out of character.
So I thought that was a B, a little bit out of character. So all right, so that is the first half of the season.
All right.
Frasier Friday Part 1.
Pretty good half.
Yeah, not bad so far. Nothing lower than a B.
No.
A couple of real corkers. Lila Thanksgiving.
Very good.
T.L. Houghton, the author.
Very good.
Both really good episodes. So yeah, we'll continue it next time with the last half of the season wrap up, Maybe more McConaughey stuff. I don't know.
If we have the sign, you never know what you're... See, it's Frasier Friday, but within that context, there could be many gifts. Lots of advice gifts, here. Yes. Okay?
Correct.
Dan reviews it.
So, all right. So that's it for now. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.